Despite belonging to the group of countries with higher social progress score in the region, Trinidad and Tobago is the largest underperformer country relative to its GDP, meaning that the country can foster a social progress level by investing its economic resources wisely. So, you know, GDP per capita is about 21,000 US dollars per annum. According to OECD, it's been graduated up to developed country status. We don't believe it. It just shows you how we could be misled by indicators. But Trinidad and Tobago is ranked up. If you look at OECD World Bank website, you will see Trinidad and Tobago graduated up last year to developed country status. We don't believe it, okay? This is statistics. So they are saying that although Trinidad and Tobago is well off from a GDP per capita point of view, they haven't invested enough of those resources into things that improve the well-being of people, okay? For their GDP rank, okay? For their GDP rank. But what I was most interested in is this last part. The 2014 index identifies strengths and weaknesses in Trinidad and Tobago compared to countries with a comparable GDP per capita. Trinidad and Tobago scored strongly on tolerance and inclusion, ranking 22nd globally, but scores poorly on personal safety, with a ranking of 117th, and ecosystem sustainability, ranking 95th globally. So the ecosystem sustainability is the one that I wanted to get at. So I pointed out to the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Planning in particular, see, it's not me. There you go. Ecosystem sustainability, 95th globally. Okay? Break that down. If you look at the bottom, ecosystem sustainability has 3 sub-indices. Number 1 is greenhouse gas emissions per capita. Trinidad and Tobago, up to last week, I thought that Trinidad and Tobago was number 2 in the world in greenhouse gas emissions per capita. I went to a meeting during this week. I was told we're number 1 now. We surpassed Qatar. Okay? So, if that is one of the sub-indices of ecosystem sustainability, we with the bother. Second thing I want to draw your attention to is water withdrawals as a percent of resources. Okay? That's one of the 3 sub-indices. So greenhouse gas emissions per capita, water resources, okay? And the last one is biodiversity and habitat. All right? So what I was trying to promote is that we need to do some water accounting. Now, every year, you know, there is a budget read, and it's about how much money we made from oil and gas and ammonia and GDP and stuff like that. And we ignore the environmental part. We do not account for the environmental resources. And one of the key ones is water. It's assumed that water will be available forever, for everything. Industry, people, you know, money itself has no worth. Things that have real worth are things like water and biodiversity and ecosystems, okay? And that's where the sustainability lies. And there should be some accounting of how much water goes to industry, how much goes to people, how much is wasted, how much goes to ecosystems. This is the basis on which you will manage properly, okay? Rather than guessing or wasting resources which don't change anything because you did not have the right data in the first place, and you do not have the data to determine whether the measures you took made a difference anyway. How can you manage? And I've heard all of that coming from this audience, of the importance of, okay? So I've gone from the global. I've come right down home now. Remember, I promised you I was going to get directly down as to why all of this makes a difference. So the water is quite key. That second indicator and the proper accounting of it. Now, there is passed in the UN a new standard, the System of Economic Environmental Accounting, SEEA. It's online. You can get the PDF. All the countries agree to it. And countries are being encouraged to do some experimental accounting, but I don't like the word experimental. I prefer exploratory. They'll get feedback, and then they will come up with a final, a revised standard. Because the World Bank and the UN are hoping to increase to change the accounting standard from only requiring countries to account for GDP, to asking them to account for some environmental components as well. So there are standards for water accounting in there, carbon accounting, and a few other things. So out of one of our grants for Trinidad and Tobago, we are going to do, it's not going to cost government anything, water accounts, okay? So we had an international consultant who's helped us to develop the water accounts. To account for water in every aspect, where it goes, okay? What resources we have, how much goes to industry, how much goes to people, how much goes down the drain, how much goes into wastewater, the whole works, all right? And we can't be prescriptive. We give it to the government, and they'll see if it helps them in decision making, and hopefully they might be encouraged to do this sustainably, okay? To not just think that only money and accounting for money is the only thing that you need to do, okay? So carbon and water are the things that we're proposing to do for them, as a matter of fact, okay? So, all right, I think that's my half an hour, I believe. I had other things to say, but I will stop there to respect the time. And thank you very warmly for listening to my rant and my sermon. I know you are the converted. So thanks very much for the opportunity.
Professor Agard, thanks a lot for this fascinating, interesting presentation. I wonder whether